Alright. Hi everybody, my name is Bethany Porter, and I did my observation hours at Copeland Oaks. And Copeland Oaks is in Sebring, Ohio, which is actually like 15 or 20 minutes down the road, not far at all, straight shot. And what Copeland Oaks is it's a retirement home that people can go and live in so that everything is close for convenience, and that if they need help like going to a doctor's appointment or something like that, then they have people there that they can take them there. And Copeland Oaks is actually a Methodist-based foundation, so like the church that they have there is Methodist. It's just a huge area, and a lot of retired Methodist like pastors and families and stuff will go and live there. Like I said, it's in Sebring, Ohio, but it really focuses on the health of everybody and the satisfaction, and they actually partner up with Mount Union Exercise Science, so that way that's how important the health is, that they want to have people train them, they want to just like all these wellness interns and all this stuff. And there's actually over 1,000 residents that live there. So why I picked Copeland Oaks is because I actually have to train my client there for my class in exercise science special populations. And when I went there to like see the facility and everything, I met the lady in charge of the wellness area, and so I asked her if I could observe her and shadow her, and she said yes, she'd love it. And so I watched her do a bunch of group classes where she would train all the older people, and it was just a really cool thing to see because I didn't think that elderly people could exercise as well as they did. I mean, like there's people in their 90s that like exercising, it was great, but there's just so many different adaptations that they did for any physical limitation that they would have. So like there was classes where people would sit in their chairs and they would have like bands and little tiny dumbbells, like 1 pound, and they're just working out. It's great. It was really cool. And I also would like to be a personal trainer when I'm done with school, and with a big background in nutrition. And at Copeland Oaks, I could see how they put all that into effect with a big group of people, and just how they improve their activities of daily living just to make it easier for them to live on their own. I actually am supposed to be there and not like a little bit because we won an award with them with how much like we put in with their program, and how just like the preparation of this whole project was just like really good. It was like one of the ones in the state that they just were excited that they did so well. The most interesting facts is that they have exercise science classes there to help with elderly people with any physical condition that they have. They have a health center, a bank, a salon, a weight room, dance studio, and a thrift shop all in one building. There's a bunch more, but it's just so convenient, so that way nobody has to ever leave the area and they just have everything that they could need there. For me to train them there, we actually had to go through the health center, get checked for a bunch of stuff, and we had to get background checks and everything. Just that's how serious this place is. There's over 1,000 residents, and they have a lot of houses that are still Copeland Oaks that like the families can stay in. So if like husband and wife are still, I don't want to say they're both still alive, but they're both still alive, they can live there together, and everybody's just like one big family. Everybody's walking around saying hi to everybody. It's just really great to see. But I'll show you. So like all of these are all the houses and stuff. Like this is the main building, but that's how many houses that there are like for other people. It's huge. And the most uninteresting facts, I thought it was kind of hard to think of uninteresting facts, but what I learned was that trucks have to park in a separate parking lot. So even just your typical pickup truck, it has to park in like the back in a separate parking lot, and it's a gravel parking lot. It's not even paved like the rest of them are. Residents and workers have separate entrances and exits for like cars to come in and out. So the residents have an entrance and exit where those like arm comes up. You have to be like kind of checked to come in and out, where the workers do not. And this got me every time I leave the building. There is a button that you have to press to get out. So like they have sliding glass doors, and you walk through the first like sliding glass doors, and it's automatic. And then you walk out the second one, and I'll just walk up to the thing and it doesn't open. You have to walk over, press a button, and then it opens up. It was just I'm not used to that. Another uninteresting fact is that old people live there. And it's 15 minutes away from Mount Union. So the leadership of this organization, it was so hard to tell because of how big the organization is and with such a short amount of time of being there. But there's just so many different groups that are working around. So like they have like nurses, the nurses respond to the doctors, like so they all have somebody to, like a leader to respond to, but everybody just worked together to make everything move smooth, to make everything run smoothly. And they even brought people from like outside in to help, so like Mount Union Exercise Science, and like there's a bunch of other things. So it's more of like an all working together rather than one person telling everybody what to do. It's just a bunch of groups that make one big group. And teamwork. So they have a bunch of different people that work together, like I said. They have the wellness interns, the dietitians, residence aides, and nurses. And there's so many more, but I picked these ones just to show you how health and physical activity is such a main part of this organization. And I saw how many people it has to take to make this organization run smoothly. So they had like 3 different shifts, people working 24 hours, 7 days a week, and no matter what department you're in, you're still working together. And if like you see something that needs the Slack helped up with, then you would go do that just because that's what you do. And everybody would respect each other's positions, and if there was something that needed said, they'd take it into consideration. But like overall, they just made sure everything was done to make the satisfaction and everything for the clients better. And communication, everywhere you went, everybody was talking to each other. Residents would talk to the workers would let the residents know what's going on, all the workers would talk to each other. There's a couple times that I was on the elevator and people would, one of the workers would be on the elevator and the door would open and there'd be another worker right there and they'd be like, oh hey, and then they'd start talking about something that they found out about a resident, like a health concern or something that they found out at the doctor, so that way everybody knows. So just so that that one resident was like fully taken care of and everybody knew what was going on. Everywhere I go, just everybody was talking, making sure everybody knew what needed to be done. And if somebody was just like roaming around, they would make sure that that person knew where they were going and got there safely, even if they were off the clock. It was just a really cool thing to observe. Like, I got to listen to a lot of stories. I don't know, I like listening to older people's stories because they just have so many and they're just kind of humorous. The staff morale. So there's many different departments in this organization and they all work together to accomplish the one, well, there's more than one goal, but one goal of creating the best living situation that they could and influencing and promoting the health of everyone, the workers and the residents, just everybody at Cocoa Notes. So my overall impression was that I think that this project was very helpful and beneficial thing to take part in, and it really got me out of my comfort zone and put me in a situation that I wouldn't have put myself in if it wasn't for this class. And I got a new perspective on residents' homes and that kind of thing. And I took what we were learning in this class and I applied it by like looking around the organization. So it was like a hands-on experience to help me better in my learning. And also I learned a lot personally about what I can do with a career in exercise science. So geriatrics is a giant field that not a lot of people take part in. And I used to be afraid of older people. Like that was a nightmare for me. I did not want to train older people. I just would not want to do it. But now I have a different view of it where I really would not mind doing it. I would work for this organization or one like it, and it was just a great experience. And now I have people that I can talk to about like networking for this organization. Like if I need help with thinking of a new exercise for an elderly person to do, then I can go to Susie or whatever. And I learned a lot of new techniques for the older population for exercising that I didn't know of before. Because like we learned how to train them, but not exactly what exercises to do. And watching all those different group classes, I really learned a lot of different techniques and adaptations to do. Thank you for listening. Are there any questions?
Okay. What's the age range of people at this place?
So like the startup like to get in is like 65, but they go until they die. I mean it's
Well, and that was my next question. My next one was the services. Do we go from being independent to hospice?
Yes.
Do we go from A to B?
Yes, there's the homes. You can start in the homes, and then the people that need a little bit more help living their daily lives, they'll come and live in the main building and the independent part. So they're still kind of on their own, but if they need help, they're in that building. But then there's a whole nother like section of the building, a huge section for the dependent people, the people that need help with everything. And there's so many like nurses and aides and all those types of people that are on that side. And they even have a cafeteria on every 3 levels, so that way they don't have to go up and down. It's just easy access there.
Do you find with the age range, you said you actually learned dealing with some of us old folks that we fit into this category. Did you find that there were people you really were trying to figure out why they were even there?
Like to exercise? Or?
Just because they were, I don't even want to use the word too healthy because there's probably not such a thing.
So, yeah, when I would take like walks around the outside just to see how big it was and stuff. And there was people like driving around perfectly fine, like, but a lot of them have had some type of like surgery or some type of like physical. They're still really healthy, but like they just really enjoy that environment. So like my grandma and grandpa, they go live in Florida in like an older person trailer park in the winter. It's kind of like that, but year round, where they can all still do everything, but they like it.
Would you want to work there?
Yeah, I would.
Is that a plan?
No,
Okay.
not yet.
Not yet. That's all I have. Thank you.
Yep.